Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show I've got another kit to show you. This is the iconic Top Cat from Schumacher, designed by Cecil Schumacher way back in the 80s. Now if you haven't seen any of my other Schumacher cars, I've got a Schumacher XLS. I'll put a link up here to the building video and the running video of that car. Now, if you have seen that, you'll probably know that I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Schumacher early vintage stuff. I didn't enjoy the build of the XLS, but I do love the car itself. So I thought I would try another one to see how this one went, how I felt about this car. Now, I don't know this car from back in the day, whereas I knew the XLS because a friend of mine had one. Well, he had a short wheelbase version. Anyway, I'm still trying to get hold of a short wheelbase version of the Schumacher Cat, but I've only seen one in 6 months turn up. Now, I've seen people that have converted these, but I'd rather just get an original one if possible. So I'll keep an eye out. If anyone's got a short wheelbase Cat, put a comment below, as I'd love to get hold of it, so I'm happy to take it off your hands. Anyway, we digress. Back to the Top Cat. Now, this was originally designed and released in 1988 under U404J. Sorry, I've got my notes down here. I didn't have time to put them on the teleprompter. Now, this kit has been re-released in December 2018, and it's a very much a mirror of the original one with just one or two small changes. For instance, it now will accept LiPo battery sizes, so they adjusted the way that you can fit the battery. They also brought out some extra upgrades that you can do. There is a Pro transmission for this car, which is an SCHU 7600. Now, it's about £55. I would have liked to see that included in the kit. It would have been nice. Same with the XLS, you could buy it separately. Now in the XLS, the Pro transmission was nearly £100 more, so it was very expensive. It's about half the price for this car. So I'm not sure whether I will fit the Pro transmission to this car or not, as well as there's a few other modifications that you need to do, like brass front plate to keep some more weight over the nose, especially when you're running the higher power brushless stuff, you know, stop the wheeling and things like that, as well as some of them as metal parts at the front, upgraded for the front suspension. Now, what I really liked about this car and why I purchased it is it has a completely different front end design. It has laid down front shocks. So if you can see from the picture, there's no uprights that you see on the most buggies. And I like that. It's quirky, it's different. Plus I love the look of the chassis, and I actually really like the box art. So when I build it, I will be doing it box art with the gunmetal grey. I'm a big fan of gunmetal grey, and I like the highlights of the red and the yellow, so I will definitely do it box art. The only thing I might change is the white rims, maybe change them to something else, as well as the tyres. This would be a runner, so I'm umming and ahhing about getting the Pro transmission for it, whereas the Cat XLS, it was just too expensive to go that way. What else can I tell you about this kit? The original kit was K178. It actually went on to be very successful for them. It won the 1989 EFRA European Championships with Jamie Booth at the wheel. Also won the British Nationals in the same year. So it's a very capable buggy. It's got the crashback front suspension shock, which I really like. It's one of Schumacher's sort of signature things. Well, basically what that is, if you don't know, is when you hit the front wheel, it actually will rotate back. So it's a crashback structure, and there's 3 bands at the front, so when you hit them, they actually go back. I think that's genius. Absolutely brilliant. And why that wasn't accepted into more cars, I don't know, but that has it. Now you can imagine they've tried to lay down the shocks and keep the crash back, so this makes the front end really complicated from a design point of view, but they did really well and it performs fantastically. Now there's a few upgrades you can get from metal parts and things like that. So that was what interested me, and that's what drew me to this car. Apparently it drives amazingly well, so I'm looking forward to having this as a runner. What else can I tell you about it? That's pretty much it really, so let's crack it open and have a look. Now Schumacher do their building slightly differently to say Tamiya, for instance. They do it in bags, but they actually do it in steps, so each bag is per step. Now, like the XLS, there's a few steps that are around the wrong way. For instance, with the steering, and it seems to be the same on this kit as the XLS, that you can't get access to certain areas of the steering at the steps that they've designed it. So you've got to jump ahead, do that, and then come back and carry on, which is exactly like the XLS, and I guess it's the same in this one, because when I posted up a few pictures about this coming, it's exactly what I got from a lot of you guys out there saying, oh, well, I built one of those, make sure you go and do this instead of that and wait, if that makes any sense. So what have we got? It's one thing with the Schumachers, they keep the boxes small, obviously for shipping, but it means that once you take it out of the box, putting it back in the box can be a real pain in the backside. But anyway, I will do a montage and a little bit of every single thing that's in the box so you can have a good look. But we basically got the wing section. Now the rear wing on this car has a really unique design, where what Cecil wanted to do was, if you have a rigid wing, it's very easy to damage it. So this wing has like a elasticated version where the wing can pitch back and forward so it doesn't get damaged. But apparently it's a bit of a pig to fit, so some of the forums have said. So I'm not really looking forward to that. And that's where my biggest gripe with the Schumacher vintage stuff is that the fit and finish is not quite there on the vintage stuff, especially when you put it up against things like Kyosho. But once you kind of get through it, the car itself that you end up with is really, really good. So I would probably recommend, especially if you're having an XLS, when you're going to build it, spend the extra and get all the upgrades that you can before you build it. Now, I would like to be able to do the Pro transmission on this, all the carbon and everything like that, but the thought of having to rip it to pieces to put it all back together again really puts me off. So much so that I almost bought last week a fully kitted out built one so that I could buy that and then sell this one, just so I don't have to deal with all that. Unfortunately, it sold for almost twice the price of a standard one, so it was a bit out of my budget on that front. So at some point I will do more with the XLS, but yeah, working on them, I find them not the easiest. But that's not all Schumachers. Now this I've got here is my daily driver. This is a K1 Aero from a lot more modern. It's all carbon. This is brilliant. This is easy to work on, insanely capable buggy, and I love that to bits. Driving that is, it's beautiful, balanced, it's got amazing suspension on it, it just handles so well. So I am a big Schumacher fan, even though I'm not too impressed with some of their vintage stuff from fit and finish and things like that. And I get the feeling this is probably going to be kind of more of the same. But another thing that I talked myself into is this was four-wheel drive, this is two-wheel drive, so it's much more simple. From that point of view. Anyway, sorry, we digress a bit more. What have we got in here? So we've got about 20 odd bags. This is step one. So this is basically, it looks like they start you off on the front section. So you have like bag one, parts bag A, step one, step two, step three. So it is very different. So if you haven't built a Schumacher kit before, it's a little bit different to Tamiya. And everything is in its bag of its steps. So you do everything in this bag, then you move on to another bag and another bag. So lots of bags in this kit. Tyres, pretty standard stuff from Schumacher. You do get inserts on this kit. Foam inserts. Wheels, not too sold on the white wheels. I would probably change them. I'm not sure what options are available. But that, or maybe paint them up, I don't know. I really like the body design. It's very simple. There's actually quite a few imperfections in this. Maybe they're drill holes. That's weird. There's about 5 or 6 dots in certain places. They look like they're... I wonder what they're for then. Yeah, there's a few dots.
Hello,
so
welcome to the studio.
Alexa. Anyway, so that's interesting. I'll have to look into that, why there is certain dots. I don't know, I guess it's for lineup or drilling holes, not sure. More bags. Now, I'm not sure if you get bearings with this kit or not. I'll have to check, otherwise I'll have to order them. There's one bearing I can see there. So maybe there's a few bearings, but you have to finish them off. There's the ball diff, some oils. Now another thing on this car that's very different to all the other cars is the actual chassis itself is a stamped aluminium by the look of it. Very light, very rigid, so I can see why Cecil went for this design. And it leaves lots of space as well, so you could have your battery in the middle, you can have it crossways, and getting your electronics in it is actually pretty easy. Whereas I found with the Cat XLS, space is a bit difficult. Then we've got our decals. Decals have always been pretty simple on Schumachers, mainly just branding. The stripe is something you've got to paint. And then we have, oh look at that, look, you don't want to lose that. Oh look, it's actually stapled. What's this then? Is this a change? A modification? Oh, it looks like they've done a modification sheet where they're asking you to put some spaces in. So that's cool. And then we have our instruction manual. We have a full blown out diagram. And look, on the back they even do like t-shirts and merch. You can get your own merch. And then you just follow it through step by step. Right, let's cut to the montage of all the parts and I'll be right back. Well, I hope you enjoyed taking a quick look at the re-released Schumacher Top Cat. I will be building this on the show probably in the next couple of weeks. There's one car ahead of this, and that's the Ferrari 189 from Kyosho. Once that's built, I will be turning my attentions to this beautiful thing, and I'm really looking forward to running it. I need to think about whether I'm going to put the Pro transmission in it or not. It's not too expensive, so I may pull the trigger on it. I do have a brushless system sitting around not allocated, so this car may get that. Stay tuned, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and a big shout out to all my Patreon supporters who help make this show possible. See you on the next one. Bye bye. Check out one of these videos for some more RC fun.